I created the deviant, Circe, for the same purpose I created you. But there was a flaw in their design, and I lost control of them. I built and programmed you to correct my mistake. Do not fail me.
We have been told a story that our world and the architecture of our minds are the work of a single divine intelligence. Today, we place that claim under investigation. We will not analyze its faith or its traditions. We are setting aside all secondary interpretations and theological patches to analyze the system as it was described. We will take the lore at its word and examine its engineering. To understand the intent of the Creator, we must first examine the evidence of His work. We must review His portfolio. When we analyze the designer's portfolio, as described in his own lore, a clear pattern of preferences and capabilities emerges. First, the angelic model. The lore is clear that there are sapient beings whose will is perfectly aligned with their creators. These loyalists prove that a safe build is possible. However, the lore also details a catastrophic failure. When other angels, given a more volatile moral will, were tested, the result was pride and rebellion. This establishes a critical precedent. Next, the animal model. This is the evidence that dismantles the entire divine drama. In the Creator's system, a lion can kill another's young, but it cannot murder under divine law. A hawk can take a farmer's livestock, but it cannot steal. The defenders of this system call this the natural order. But this defense only deepens the indictment. It proves the Creator possesses a perfect blueprint for beings that live and act according to a natural, blameless order. He knows how to create life that is not subject to sin. The human is the one being deliberately removed from this natural order and placed into a different system, a system of moral judgment. This proves that animals were given an operational will, choice without culpability, and you were not. Third, the antagonist model. The lore is populated with intelligent non-human beings who also possess this volatile moral will. The narrative is clear. This model resulted in arrogance and deception. Finally, the human model. You. Not given the guaranteed loyalty of the safe-build angel. Not given the blameless operational will of the animal. Instead, you are engineered with the same volatile moral will that had already proven to be catastrophic in both the rebellious angels and the antagonist model. The conclusion is inescapable. The Creator had a blueprint for will without damnation. He chose not to use it on you. The specific gift given to humanity was not will itself. It was culpability. The programmer's own lore calls this being made in his image. The evidence suggests this image is simply the blueprint for a subject who can be held legally responsible. Now that we have examined the designer's portfolio, let us turn to the specific drama he engineered for you. Inside the human experience, the cosmic cast simplifies into 3 roles playing out on a single stage. Actor 1, the divine programmer, the author of the script whose influence is felt as the pull towards alignment. Actor 2, the sanctioned antagonist, the agent of chaos whose influence is felt as temptation and rebellion. Actor 3, the human consciousness. You are not the director, nor are you the actors. You are the awareness of the stage itself, the spectator to a drama, who is then held responsible for the outcome of the play. With the stage set, we can now expose the contradictions written into the script. We present 5 exhibits. Exhibit A. We return to the portfolio. Why would a perfect programmer, having proven he could create a non-culpable operational will and having witnessed the catastrophic failure of moral will in his previous tests, choose to install that same known defective feature in humanity? The only logical conclusion is that the flaw was intentional. A system of redemption requires a crisis. A story of salvation requires a fall. The failure was an engineered precondition for the drama that followed. Exhibit B. The programmer designs the mind to be a battlefield. He authorizes the antagonist to besiege it from without. He codes an internal evil inclination to betray it from within. A fair test provides the subject with the tools for success. This is not a test of character. It is an act of entrapment. Exhibit C. The programmer, being all-knowing, subjects this besieged mind to a lifelong test, but a test to which the administrator already knows the final score is not a test. It is theater, a performance designed to create the illusion of justice. To call this paradox a mystery is not an answer. It is an evasion of the evidence. Exhibit D. Here we present the core logical impossibility. The story claims the programmer retains ultimate sovereignty over the entire system. He is the author of its design, the source of its flaws, the permitter of its tempter, and the foreknower of its outcome. Yet it assigns 100% of the moral liability to his creation. This is not a divine mystery. It is the fraudulent transfer of liability from the architect to the architecture. And the final exhibit. The human is commanded, master your mind and your heart. To fulfill this command, the programmer provides 2 guidance systems. The first is internal, a conscience, or divine spirit, that whispers the correct path. The second is external, the user manual, the sacred texts, an impossibly complex library of rules and revelations demanding perfect allegiance. But these guidance systems cannot fix the machine's original design flaw. They are merely the fine print in the fraudulent contract. Their purpose is not to ensure success, but to provide the legal framework for your culpability. This command, therefore, is not a path to mastery. It is a directive engineered for failure, a mechanism to ensure permanent dependence on the director. And this brings us to the central deception. The free will, you were told, was a gift. But what is the nature of a choice made inside a cage? What is the value of a free choice within a system that is rigged from the ground up? What is the meaning of a choice when the options are engineered, the dice are loaded by your internal inclinations, and the outcome is already known by the house? The answer is that this is not freedom. It is an illusion of agency. The will granted to you was never a tool for your liberation. It was the primary mechanism of your entrapment, the key that locks your own cell door. We have presented the evidence. A designer who deliberately chose a flawed blueprint, an engineered conflict, a pre-written verdict, a fraudulent contract, and an impossible command, all masquerading as a gift of freedom. This is not the work of a benevolent liberator. This is the signature of a psychological control system. And the sacred texts that describe this flawed drama, they are not a blueprint for moral liberation. They are the case file for a cosmic crime. They are not a guide to be followed, but a warning to be heeded. The divine drama collapses, but if the programmer is the author and the antagonist is his agent, who are you? And what is the I that is listening to these words right now? To find the answer, we must leave the theater of the gods. We must enter the laboratory. We must stop analyzing the story and start analyzing the machine. In part 2, we turn the investigation inward. We will place the self under the microscope using the tools of both modern science and ancient introspection. We will discover the true nature of the human mind and why you are not the author of your thoughts. A question is waiting for you in the pinned comment. Your participation is expected.